All right, all right, all right. We are live, alive and in charge. Let's get all of this going. I'm going to pull up the YouTube for chat on my phone, and we're good to go. So, someone commented on my recent video a challenge, and they were like, "Hey, can you? Here's a challenge. Can you make some legitimate espresso with crema using a mortar and pestle?" And I was like, "Probably." So we're gonna give it a go, and I'm just gonna keep doing it until I get it. And as I'm doing it, I'm just gonna talk and answer questions in the chat. So let's get to grinding on a mortar and pestle. So I've got this. I found my wife's probably not gonna be very happy because I'm gonna get coffee all in this, but this was in our kitchen. I knew we had one, so I was like, screw it, let's just grab that. I'm gonna try to elevate the DeLonghi a bit more. I'm using the DeLonghi Stylosa, which I just did a video on today. So it's already sitting out. It's heated up and ready to go. I'm going to elevate it, though, so y'all can actually see that better. What should I put it on? Probably just a box will work. This is probably too big of a box. This is probably a good size box. Here we go. It's a little big, but it's going to work. Oh, that's perfect, actually. All right. So we've got our Stylosa right there. And then for the mortar and pestle, you're just going to see me mortaring with that pestle. All right, so I've got 18 grams. Let's get light on it. Got 18 grams of coffee in here. I'm just gonna start going, and then we're gonna try to make some charcoal spro. All right. When are you and Daddy Hoff going to release a softly spoken rap album together? This, by the way, this is probably going to take a while, so we're just going to go through. Hopefully, the crunching noise isn't too much of an issue for you all. Let's get the microphone right there. Hopefully, the crunching noise isn't too much of an issue. But let's see. A rap album. Hey, I would love to do a softly spoken rap album. In fact, an album I love actually is William Shatner and Ben Folds. Ben Folds composed some music for poems that William Shatner wrote, and I genuinely enjoy that album. Like, I'll listen to it frequently. It's not ironic. Are we doing the Discord chat priority thing or still YouTube chat? Oh, I completely forgot to make this private. Okay. Well, maybe for people in Patreon, and don't be lame if you're not, just put like a P before your question so I can prioritize. I know that anyone can do that, but I meant to keep this private, and it's at public currently, but it is what it is. I'll probably get through a lot because I'm only doing Q&As since I'm grinding mortar and pestle. All right. Hello from Singapore. Sweet. I'm glad you could join. What grinder burr did you use on the Italian video, dark roast? I used the Coffetech Monolith Max, and I used the light medium burrs in it, to be honest with you. I think they actually do a good job for darker coffees. I could have used really anything, and in fact, to prove that, because people think that you need these nice grinders to get all this stuff, in my video that I filmed today, I actually used like this $80 AliExpress grinder that isn't even really, it's not really easy to find because it's not very good. So I used that. In fact, it's right here. Sorry, buddy. You're fine. You're fine. My dog's at my feet. This is what I used in the video today. So, I mean, but yeah, I did use a Coffetech for that because it was already dialed in. Because that's what I've been drinking my crema bar on, is the light medium. Names don't mean anything, okay? Just because something's called light medium doesn't mean it's only for light medium. But anyway, from Florida, what's up? What's up? First live since back in the IG days. Oh, wow, nice. Fresh, bald face for your boy. Oh, yeah. Weight loss journey absolutely crushing. Thank you. Over 50 pounds down, about 22 kilos, 23 kilos. What's the pepper retention like on that thing? Let's not talk about that. Who knows? Hi from Australia. Good day. What water recipe do you use for light roast espresso? What buffer to hardness ratio? I pretty much do only 45 to like 80 ppm of potassium bicarbonate, depending on the coffee. And I don't put general hardness into my brew water. I post mineralized with that. So if I want calcium or magnesium, I drop it in my espresso after I take a sip. But yeah. ASMR TBH for real. I hope so, because it's going to be going on a lot, because I'm assuming this will take a few tries. Much more often than I would have expected on live streams. Yeah, absolutely, Nicholas. Definitely trying to do more and more. And I'm going to do well, this one was supposed to be private for Patreon, but, you know, it's fun to have it public. That's cool. We'll get more people in to subscribe and maybe to subscribe to this channel and maybe join the Patreon, which would be cool. But yeah, I normally do these for just Patreon because it really, I mean, it's part of the perks of being in Patreon to have the access for the live chat. Makes it a lot of fun. But I also do, and for those of you watching, make sure you have announcements for me turned on in the Discord, because there are a lot of times I'll just hop on the live brewing live feed in Discord itself. And it's always spur of the moment. Could be at 10 a.m. my time, which is like 4 a.m. Central Standard Time, or, you know, in the afternoon / evening in Asia. So there are times I just randomly hop on to brew for like 30 minutes and chat. So definitely have your notifications turned on. And if you're not a Discord fan, well, you can turn off all notifications except for me. There's a way to do that, and Harris can help you out with that. But anyway, what's your opinion on Americanos? Do you have a good recipe for it? Oh, actually, let's see. P, did you receive your Meraki espresso machine yet? No, I have not yet. I've not received it yet. I did pay for the Kickstarter, and supposedly it's been shipped because the European orders were supposed to have shipped like a couple weeks ago. I've not received any notification, but I did fill out my shipping address, and I, you know, paid the Kickstarter price. And so I'm just, at this point, I'm just waiting. So I don't know. We're going to see when it shows up, and then I'll be able to do the do. Let's see. Lance, you inspired me to start making coffee videos myself, going for a different style than you and Daddy Hoff. Thanks for cranking out great content. Coffee Gear Lab. Okay, cool. Shoot me a message or put your YouTube on one of the chats so I can check it out, because I will not remember. I won't remember unless it's in one of the chats, because I'm sure this will be a long-ish video, because who knows how long. I mean, I guess I could get lucky on first try, but even still, these are still very coarse grounds, so it's going to take me a bit. What GBW hopper, ground by weight hopper grinder would you recommend to pair with Weber Key and EG1 grinders? Main use will be medium dark beans for gooey espresso and milk drinks. Ground by weight, that's hard because there aren't many great ground by weights. Honestly, if you're just doing like gooey espresso and you're wanting just something simple, you can honestly get the Firenzato 64 millimeter all ground, because you're not going to need anything super fancy when it comes to milk drinks, and it'll give you gooey enough espresso, especially if you're using coffee that is prone to making gooey espresso. So I think that does a solid job. And the thing that I know most about it, though, that I think is the most solid, is I have tested the grind by weight feature on it, and it's actually very, very accurate, which was really impressive. I have nothing to do with Firenzato as a company. It's Pietro that I made the burr for, and I made it very clear there would be a separation, and that's why I've never reviewed or even owned a Firenzato grinder, is just to make sure I had a really nice separation there. So what the testing that, I guess I can't say I did the testing personally, but I watched Aga, the past World Barista Champion. I watched her testing it at an expo, and it was actually pretty incredible. She is an ambassador, I think, for Firenzato, but it was a really nice feature. So that one probably would do a good job, and it's not that expensive, comparatively speaking. I am not a fan of the Sete grind by weight. I don't think that does a very good job. It's too finicky, though people do have it and report good experiences, but I've also read a lot of bad experiences. Oh, that was the one I just answered. Which burrs would you like to try with your mortar? Which burrs? I need to have the multi-purpose burrs. I want that nice, more unimodal distribution, because this is a bit nuts. I'll show you my progress so far. Let's get some light on that. Here, we'll get up close. That's where we're at. It's a chore. All right. Okay, did you see Brian Kwan brew COE with a mortar and pestle? No, I haven't seen that. That's funny. I have not seen that. I didn't even have this idea. It was a comment on my Italian espresso video where someone essentially put the challenge out. And at first I was like, oh, I'll make a video of that, like a proper video. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because that's not enough content for a video. And so I was like, I'll just sit and do it live, because I think that's hilarious. I told Ugo what I would do is, we were joking around today, and I said, we filmed today, and that's when I saw the comment while he was still here doing B-roll. I was like, it would be really funny to do a video where I just ground the whole time in silence, because it takes so long to do this grinding. And so instead of talking like I am now, I could just sit there and grind. Cheapskate here. Consider this a great Patreon advertisement. I love it. Robot or Argosy Auto? Argosy. LOL. Argosy Autos. So I actually have both of them in iShot. So, you know, I'm going to take a break. So my arm's a little tired and I'm going to grab them. So, there we go. So the question is robot or Argosy. I keep doing that. Robot or Odyssey Argos? So this is the robot, very sturdily built, about $500 US dollars, maybe even a little less. And if you don't get the manometer, which honestly isn't 100% necessary, though it is nice, it's a little cheaper. I think like 380 or something. But this is never going to fail you. All you have to ever do is change out the gasket, and that's it. Just lube it up, and you're good to go. Makes incredible espresso, though you are limited in different capacities. But for the most part, it's very simple, small. I think it's beautiful. I'm obsessed with this color. I didn't pay for this, but I did not get it from the company. What I did to win this, win is the word here. I, at one of the expos, and this is a brag, at one of the expos, there was a competition at the Smart Espresso Profiler booth with Gabor, who makes, you know, those Bluetooth transducers and whatnot. And his the competition was to replicate a pressure curve that he put on the screen. And so he had a Flare 58 and a robot out, and you chose one of those and you replicated what was on the screen. You got one shot at it, pun intended. And he used an algorithm to kind of score how close you were to the pressure on the screen. And it was by the time, like it was, as time was going on, you had to replicate it exactly. And I absolutely dominated everyone, including Jonathan Gagne, which was hilarious. But so I got first choice on a prize, and I chose the robot because I was obsessed with this color and I wanted to get a robot anyway. And so I think the prize options were Flare 58, which I had already gotten at the time, an Akai Lunar, which was actually quite tempting because those are expensive. And I had one or two at the time, but I was like, yeah, you can always use another. And then, yeah, I got the robot. So let's keep going with this. All right, let's see. Oh, and then this is the Argos. It's right in front of me, and I forgot. Hello, ADHD. This is the Argos. It's about $1,100 or $1,200 with all the kind of add-ons and stuff. You can do spring lever or direct lever with it, which is really nice. It is a 58 millimeter group. I wish it was a smaller group, but that's what it is. And it's got a really intuitive, really nice algorithm inside for the PID controlling, where it keeps the boiler pressure quite nice. But what happens is essentially after your first shot, the pressure goes down quite a bit, and it's because it's trying to maintain temperature. So instead of rebuilding the pressure up by heating up, it doesn't do that. So you lose. So after your first shot, you're not getting the same steam pre-infusion. So there is kind of that going on, but you can do that or direct lever, and it's a pretty easy swap. With like an 8-bar spring or a 7-bar spring or a 6-bar spring, you can kind of choose. I believe all those options are still available unless they've changed since I got mine, which I did buy. I did not win that in a competition, sadly. That was a more expensive purchase. But, all right, let's see. Which mortar and pestle for ultralight roast? Listen, you go in and you get, it's called the SG Mini, right? That's the one you want. Not the SG1, it's the SG Mini. So it's like the little brother of the Stone Grinder one from Weber. They're only about, $8,000, so it's a lot cheaper than the SG1, but, come on! I really think I could probably pull espresso with this, but I think I have, there's really big grounds, but I'm scared there's a lot of really tiny fines that are going to clog the machine. I mean, there are particles in here that are massive boulders, but I'm scared I'm going to have so many fines that it's going to choke the machine even with those boulders. But we're going to go and try this one. Let me get through some more questions. The deep billet basket from Swerks, I'm trying to get one. He said he was going to look at inventory so I could buy, because I don't think it's listed on the site. Unibasket 20 grams, really 20 grams, or rather 22 gram volume. It depends on the coffee you're using. I have a fancy brass mortar and pestle. Better or worse than a traditional stone mortar and pestle? Is this a cones versus flat debate? Yes, it is, actually. So the brass is not going to give you as much friction as what you'll get with the stone. So it actually is going to produce less heat resistance, which is great, but it will elongate your grinding time, which is not ideal. So it's one of those things where you may be able to get less of that friction, that heat damage, but the longer it's going to take you to grind, the more oxidation is going to occur as the beans are cracking open, and it's not a good time for anyone. So the Europiccolo group head tends to overheat. Is that true of most vintage levers? Looking for one that'd be simpler to manage if you have suggestions. Yes, that is typical, but there is something called the bong isolator, named by a guy whose last name or first name I can't remember is Bong, and it's a little kind of piece that you put between the group head and the body, and it slows down the heat up of the group. It does a good job. You can also get a heat sink that you add on the group, which is literally, it looks like a heat sink you have on different PCBs and things like that. Wraps around the group head. It's good to go. I did want to say that I'm really thankful for the Patreon Discord because thanks to the guidance I have received there, I brewed my first good shot on my Gaja Classic Pro today. Yes, that rocks. The people in the Discord are amazing. So shout out to you all for helping whenever I'm not available. Okay, so we got that out. Let's get this. All right. So we got the DeLonghi Stylosa, and we're going to hope it pulls a shot. If we get it first try, that's going to be incredible. Let me find where'd I put that friggin' paintbrush? That little brush to brush it in there. It's in my pocket? No. Well, we'll use this one. It's not the one I like, but it's the one I've got. I don't know where the other is. Okay. Oh, so I guess to show you, this is what I've settled on. Like I said, there are a lot of massive grounds in there, but I'm pretty confident there's more than enough fines to compensate and to slow down the shot to get me the requisite pressure. So we're going to see. And also, one of my rules that I'm just making up right now, I'm allowed to do a blooming shot if I think that's going to help save the shot. So, but essentially, we're just trying to get a thick boy shot. All right, let's get the tamper. Oh, there we go. Yep, it did go all the way down. Wow, that is okay. That's some coarse grounds, but I'm telling you, I think the fines are going to be sufficient to stop the shot, but we'll find out right now. Oh, it turned off on standby. It's fine. Okay, let's get a clear cup. And let's hope for the best. Here we go. Yeah, y'all can see that just fine. Just fine. All right, everyone. It's unstable. It's not unstable. There we go. All right. Woo! I'm scared because that was a lot of work. All right. And timer on. I don't know why we're timing, but. Okay, it is a little fast. Dang it, it's really fast. Okay. Well, it was too coarse. But you know what? We did it. That's 1 to 2 in 15 seconds turbo shot. You know, we got to try it because YOLO. But that's not what we needed. It's not what we needed. Woo! Woo! Actually, it wasn't that bad. I mean, this is Sake. It's a dark roast. But it was not that bad. And then we can look at the disastrous top of that puck. Woo! That's a good time. Don't fall over on me, White. Okay. All right. All righty. That's good enough for now. I'll clean it because I've got a ton more grinding to do. All right. So we're going to re-up on questions. Give me a second. And if you're new, if you're in my Patreon, please be honest. Put a P before your question because those are going to get priority. And then I'll try to go back and get other questions that are kind of hanging around. But all right. We're getting out all the microfines that may be caught in here as many as we can, so you don't mess up a future shot. There we go. Let me go ahead and weigh out a dose, and then I'll start on the questions again. Here we go. Good enough. All right. Well, ASMR for you. Okay. Cheers from New York City. What would be your best bang for buck and best money, no object grinder recommendation for gooey espresso? For gooey espresso, if we're trying to get that ooey gooey, I actually, it's hard. So people assume cones are the best for that. There are some cones that do a pretty good job of it, but a cone is not just going to give you the most ooey gooey because that's what people have said for so long. Now that has been the case, ish. But I think a lot of it's just because the places that were serving the darker coffees just tended to use cones more so, and it kind of was by association. But I find that something like the Eureka Specialita with the stock burrs actually does a really nice job on ooey gooey espresso. I think it actually does a great job. My big issue with cones, just when it comes to the ooey gooey, is that they typically give me, even though it might give you a thick shot and it might be kind of quote unquote chocolatey, the chocolatiness I get is more on the bitter side than on the chocolate side. I like bitter chocolate, but when it's like 99.99% bitter chocolate and the bitterness is a little overwhelming, that's where I don't like it. And I'm chalking that up to the fracture dynamics that occur in cone grinding. I think it smushes a bit more, mashes a bit more, especially at higher speeds, and causes some issues that you're not really experiencing with a lot of flat burr geometries. That being said, I have yet to find any ooey gooey shots that match a lot of flat burrs. Not all flat burrs, obviously. There are some that are really, really into that clarity region. But actually, a burr that's really interesting to me is the base burr by Weber. He legitimately created that burr for it to replicate the oddities of a cone burr. So what I mean by that is there's this weird thing that happens with pretty much every cone, that when you switch RPM, the particle distribution greatly changes. Now, there are minor fluctuations with some flat burrs whenever you change RPM, but mostly what happens with flat burrs that I've tested is when you change RPM, mostly what occurs is you shift the particle peak, and the particle size distribution is almost identical. It just shifts to a coarser peak. Now, I've not tested enough to say that happens to like majority or something, but the majority of what I have tested are like that. And honestly, off the top of my head, I can't name a flat burr that didn't do that other than the base burrs. The base burrs had as big of a switch as cone burrs do via particle size distribution, meaning like if you had a PSD that was like, little hump, big hump, when you switched to RPM a ton, it would be like big hump, medium hump, which is a huge change, obviously, with RPM. And that would happen on cone burrs. The faster you went, the bigger the fine hump got, and the smaller drastically the main peak got. And so this happens with the base burrs. He said he actually tried to make them replicate cone burrs, but with a flat geometry. I get really great thick gooey shots with that. But honestly, best bang for buck, I would say hands down is the Specialita when it comes to ooey gooey espresso with a good texture that doesn't get grainy, doesn't get, that's the thing with cone burrs. Like with the niche, people always said it's great for chocolate. And for me, the texture gets ruined. It has like it tastes almost grainy. Like there's this weird bitterness and a weird graininess and astringency. And also I have some really weird data. I don't know how to present it yet, but I started working on this thing I called the fixed gap theory. It's not really a theory, but essentially I took coffees in on this and I dialed one coffee in on like 6 different grinders, dialed them all into the same exact parameters. And then without changing the burr gap on any of the grinders, I took about 12 different coffees and I ran them through with replicates of 5 each. And what happened was the niche stayed pretty consistent in the sense that all of the shots were within like a 20 to 40 second range, regardless of the coffee. Whereas the more unimodal grinders would have massive disparities. The fastest would be like 12 seconds, and the longest with the same selection of coffees would be like 1:20 or even higher, 2 minutes sometimes. So I believe what's happening with the niche is it has such a, not just a wide particle distribution, but the fines in it cause you to grind in a way, I don't know how to describe it. It's difficult, but essentially, I think it has, because it's such a wide particle distribution, that you have less variance whenever you're switching coffees, which I think it also fuels my theory that the success of it came from how easy it is to dial in. And that's why I said in my initial, niche video like 3 years ago, I said that it kind of, you hit a ceiling of like 60% of how good the coffee can be. And a lot of people are happy with that because it's better than the 20 or 30% they're hitting with their more difficult grinders to dial in because they didn't have the skill set or the experience. And so yeah, I'm a big believer in flats just being honestly, like the flat geometry theory, I think is objectively better than cone in theory. Are there cones better than flats? Yes, don't get me wrong. But I think you optimize a flat for gooiness and it's going to be better than an optimized cone for gooiness. And for me, there's nothing gooier at that $500 price point or 600, whatever it's at, than the Eureka Specialita. Probably. That's off the top of my head. But it's definitely ooey and gooier than anything I can think of. Coffee Master said their Morrow review will be over an hour. Will you watch it? Yeah, I will. They're tied with the guys at Morrow, like in the sense that they've been helping them for years. So they're of course going to give a lot of time to it. I've met the kids who run Morrow, and I say kids not pejoratively, but because literally they started the project at like 18 and they're like 22 now. They're babies, and so they've been kind of mentor-ish to them. And like I met the Morrow guys with Cafe Master when we were in Milan, and it's a really good relationship they have. But I'm sure a lot of it, is going to be wanting to give it its due. Though Cafe Master is very objective, so if they have something negative to say, they will say it. They're not going to couch any words, which I really appreciate about them. I'm trying to get them to do well, I'm not trying. We're planning on it. But I pitched to Ben from Cafe Master an idea to do a collaboration maybe in the summer where we go camping together and do some outdoor coffee stuff, because Ben is a big outdoor guy. Y'all know me. I love collabs. It's not, although I act like the Lance show, I love collabs. That's why I've done so many. I bring on people from different areas of expertise and let them have this limelight. And it's because I truly believe in collaboration, community, and everyone sharing their thoughts on things. Like even having Matt Winton on, a good friend of mine, we approach pour overs differently, but I wanted him to come on, say his piece, because all of you deserve to hear different vantage points than just mine. So, whew. All right, take a little break and catch up on some of these. Someone said, is this a test? So is this a test, or has anyone been able to get coffee as fine as possible for espresso? I can do it. You just watch. Y'all are going to be like, and it's going to be this shot. Oh, thank you for the super thanks to Cameron Batco, going to go briping in the woods while camping. I don't know. That was a James thing, and I don't want to like copy James. James went super viral with that bright thing, and I don't really want to. I'd rather do something different, something more unique, and something that really only me and Cafe Master can do. That's actually something Daddy Hoff taught me is, when you're approaching content, try to do things that like only you can do. Obviously, that's impossible to do every video like that. Same with him. There are lots of videos like I could do the video he just did where you talk about how to start espresso, right? But, really only James could pull off that really artsy video he did on with interpretive dance and stuff like that. Like ain't nobody else doing that. So I would like to think of something a bit more special, I guess. Easy way to descale a plumbed-in machine without connecting a tank to it. That is a good question. It depends on how easy you're trying to go. If you're being thorough, it really depends. It depends on what your machine is, what the boiler is made of. I assume brass. If it's plumbed in, I'm assuming it's more a commercial grade machine. But there's a lot of depends there. But in long and short, yes, you can. Well, no, actually, if it's plumbed into the sink, no, there's not. You'd have to unplumb it, and you'd have to. I'm sorry, my brain's not working because I'm starting to sweat. Actually, I have a sweat coming down my brow. But no, you would need to. You'd have to feed it differently. I normally just take the boilers out, honestly, and do a full nice descale. Oftentimes we'll open the boilers up, scrub it down a bit, depending on how long it's been since a descale. But that's another video I'm planning on doing. Is I just chatted. I found a guy on a forum in Germany who has a Gaja Classic he's selling for 40 euros because it's defunct. And I'm going to do a video where I refurb it and kind of show the whole process. And the idea is going to be, and I think I'm also going to get a Seiko Poleama. I can't remember how to say it. For like 20 euro I found here in Portugal. And it's because I want to show that people should not be afraid of rehabbing machines. If it's a machine you have, like so often these machines go to the landfills and it's a freaking travesty and should not happen. I'm going to put a rag under this because the bottom of this is a little rough. But yeah, so Oh, we're getting it this time. Worst case, I'm choking this shot. I'm telling you that right now. Do you consider Onyx Eclipse Italian roast style? So I want to push it darker. It is not currently Italian roast. No, 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 no. It is darker than anything we do by far, but it is nowhere near Italian roast still. I would like to push it further though. I just get, it's so funny. Like I enjoy drinking this. Very specifically, the one Saka that I presented. I have two others that I did not enjoy nearly as much. The Crema bar has been quite nice. It is 60% Robusta, which was shocking to me because it's not nearly bitter enough for it to have 60% Robusta, but I think they do a good job with it. But yeah, I get scared with my own product going that dark. It's I can see why not many specialty roasters do it. It's a scary thing to do. It doesn't feel right. Are there any budget blind shakers you would recommend? I've not tried any. So here's the thing. I didn't even buy the Weber one. I guess I sorted it because it came with my EG1. So I already had it. So there was no point in me buying one. And when I was doing the testing, I didn't even have the blind shaker in the original test lineup. It was because Samo said they used it in their lab out at Zurich. And I was like, well, frick, I guess I'll add it then if y'all use it. So he said it was more consistent with WDT and told me I should add it. So I always check my methodology with him on experiments and stuff just to make sure I'm not, going down the wrong hole. That was a weird thing to say. But just to make sure I'm not going down the wrong route. And so, oh, come on. We're really doing well on this one. I'm just kind of, okay. Whoops. I just said a naughty word. Apologies. But yeah. Update on SSP or other upgraded at 78mm focus burst. I mean, it takes me a while to go through new grinders, new burst sets, because there's a lot of seasoning involved and a lot of testing involved. And with how anticipated these are, I'm not wanting to rush anything. And honestly, I don't think anyone should rush to buy them. It's not like they're going to sell out. I would caution you to exercise caution, I guess, or recommend you to exercise caution because I know there are going to be reviewers and stuff to rush them out, and that's okay. Like that it's a rat race. That's never been my style, rushing things out, because I really want to make sure that what I put out there is going to live in perpetuity, and I want to make sure I at least to the best of my ability at the time, believe in what I'm saying. And so I'm still not done with the SSPs, and then I'll put the LeBrews in. It's just taking me a bit longer because this is such a big thing. Normally if it was just SSP, that would be a lot easier, but because there's a competitor out there, I really want to ensure of everything in my thoughts. And it's a little difficult going back and forth between two burst sets and one grinder. I did have two 078s, but literally one is with Hansung. I gave it to him to create the burst. So he has mine. He did offer to ship it back, but I told him go ahead and keep it for further burr iterations. So I would have two, but I only have one. And then that's before I knew there was going to be a second contender on the market. But yeah. Other than Argos Odyssey, are there any other sub 2K spring lever machines with PID control? Not that I'm aware of. No. Not that I'm aware of. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. Whew! Okay, let's see. Meticulous, actually, that is a below 2K PID, but I mean, it's not spring lever, but you can make it spring lever. But it's also, who knows when it comes out. Happy Friday. Have you had a chance to play with the slow feed auger on the Zerno? What do you think of it? I think it's cool. I don't use it more than the regular, though. I just use the stock. It could be, I haven't done like intense testing with it, but it's because like to me, whereas the auger does have a change, I think it may need to be a more aggressive change than what that is for it to be a big enough difference for me to super prefer one over the other. And right now, like I said, it could just be, placebo or whatever, but I feel like I prefer the regular, but I'm not quite sure. I just haven't spent enough time doing that because that's such a niche topic that I've not, with the Onyx EU launching and everything else I've been doing, I've just decided not to put time on that for now. All right. We're getting to Turkish, baby. Okay. You could sift and regrind the boulders. Yes, I know, but I feel like that's cheating. Like I had that conversation actually today with Ugo because he pulled this out and said you should use this, and I was like, no, I feel like that's cheating. I want to do this just mortar and pestle and not regrinding anything. I just want to do it one and done. I'm very confident I could do it if I sifted. But are you going to use a pressurized basket with this grind? No, I'm not. Purposefully. I'm also making it even more difficult because I'm using the Normcore basket, which has it's the high extraction basket. Well, I don't know why I'm making it so difficult. You know what? That's actually really dumb. I'm putting the IMS in. That was really dumb. See if you grind even finer for those high extraction baskets. Maybe pressurized baskets are the future of the next controversy after shaking. Decouple grind size from pressure. Yeah, honestly, that's something I've been thinking about a lot. The issue is all the pressurized baskets are crap quality. So whereas it may in theory be good until there's like a good quality one, I don't think they will be able to beat normal baskets. I don't know. Let me sink all these back down. I'm gonna kind of get the brush in there. We're getting to Fluff City. You know what? I may try this. Yeah, screw it. Let's try this. All right. First things first, I'm the realist. Father. Okay. All right. Let's get this going. All right, if this doesn't work, the next one I will promise will either be it or I'll choke the machine. No joke. That is my guarantee. If this one isn't the money one, my next one will 100% either be money or it will choke. That's my Lance guarantee right now. Okay. Woo! That's a workout. All right. I don't really have a collar for this, so we're just gonna use a wrong size collar and hope it kind of works. There we go. And where did I put that tamper? Here it is. All right. It's a little bit better. Still boulders, but honestly doesn't look too much different than an 83 millimeter Mazur burr. So cone burr, that is. All right. What is going on? Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay, there it is. All right. It turned off. Let's turn it back on. All right. Everyone, I need you to say some magic words. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Gotta fix the her. There's not much of it, but what there isn't doing well. Okay. Wait, let it get to temp. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Ah! Okay, it's actually not terrible. 1-to-2 ratio in 25 seconds. Do we count that? Does that count, or is that not good enough? I'm gonna do one more. It's not thick enough. I know it's gonna be hard because how many boulders, but I wanted it to look nicer. Jeff Nippard, Lance Hedrick collab win. You know, I would love to. I highly doubt there's any chance I could get in contact with him, though. Someone more realistic is getting the old Eric Bugenhagen. If anyone knows the Boogs, that would be hilarious. I'd have to grow my mustache back out for him. All right. Rick De La Stick. That guy's a nut job, and I love it. Cracks me up. All right. It's getting messy over here, but thankfully you can't see the counter. All right, let's see. Favorite precision basket? I'm ordering Bianca, good basket, hopefully without spending 200 plus. Well, the good news is one of the best on the market. The Weber basket's like 60 or 70 or 80 bucks. I don't remember. But honestly, you don't need a precision basket. Just get a Pullman and call it a day. If you want to experience the precision, toss a paper filter on the bottom. You don't need the precision baskets. They're fun, but they're expensive and a little silly because how expensive they are. Although, like I said, the Weber one, he's been producing them more, so has cheaper prices now. Like I just bought for science, I just bought the 28 gram Weber because I'm gonna do a video on aspect ratio where I match a big dose in a 49 millimeter and then a big dose in this bad boy. So I did buy this, but it was like 75 euro or something. I don't remember, but so that's a 28 gram bad boy. But unless you're doing something like that, I mean, I don't know. I don't really see the point. Oh, actually, we were going to do the ASMR again because I thought that was fun. I'm an ASMR channel now. Okay, everyone, here we go. Oh yeah. All right, now everyone tip me 50 bucks for that ASMR. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start last one because I do feel like that one counts. 25 seconds, I feel like counts. I think the body's just going to be difficult because how coarse the coarse grounds are, and it's really only hitting pressure because the microparticles in there. But figure we give it the old college try. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. I'm really behind on questions. I'm going just to the P's. That sounds weird. Blind shake with the mortar. I did. I did. What's your all-time favorite espresso machine based purely on aesthetics? Oh God, all time. Probably. It's hard. There is one from Dorio from like the 1940s that has a marble base slab on it. It's in my Mumac video. That is definitely a contender. I think that is just unreal gorgeous. I'm also a big fan of the La Pavone Euro Bar. I just got one in. I think they're sexy. I love the Streetman. I love the La Marzocco Rondine, which I have a poster of right back there. You can see it on this stream. I think those would probably be my top contenders. Also, I really like the mini Gauja. I have one being shipped to me now. I found one that is used and abused for like 50 euros. So I'm just going to restore it. But I do really like it. Was designed by this French industrial designer. And I think it's got a really nice look. It's very simple, very small, cute. I really like it. Besides the Wug, do you know if those Chinese 78mm grinders can take Dating Lab sweets? No, they cannot. In fact, it's funny you asked. Well, I don't have it up here anymore. I moved it to the basement. I forgot I had been scammed before. It's not a scam. Well, I guess you can call it a scam. Those AliExpress Sheo Leo 78mm flat burr grinders, those are not 78mm. And what's funny is I've been fooled by that twice now. About 3 years ago, I bought one because I thought the same thing as you. I was like, maybe I could somehow jimmy in some Dating Lab sweets. I bought one when I was in the US. I opened it up and it was not 78 mils at all. Not even close. I don't remember what the size was, but it was nowhere near 78. And then 3 years go by. I'm out here and like 2 months ago, I was on AliExpress and I saw 78mm Sheo Leo for like 160 bucks. And I said, oh, I wonder if I can fit burrs in there. And I bought one, shipped here. I opened it. Not 78. It's like 60 something. It's weird. The 78 measurement, I think, is side to side of the grinder, not burr size. So I was very let down, disappointed, especially because that literally happened to me 3 years ago and I completely forgot because ADHD rules my life. But yeah. What do you think about the link the portafilter is locked in before you start pulling the shot? Coffee Monster says 5 seconds makes a notable difference. I can see why they would say that. I think it would change machine to machine in portafilter to portafilter, but mostly the biggest thing, without question. And in fact, I do like that they said that. I've not, I haven't heard them say that, but and I don't think. I think it would have been easier for them without as much skepticism from people if they would just say you need the basket warm. That's it. Now, if you have the unifilter, that's a different story because it's all one unit. But if it's a portafilter where the basket's not connected, all you need to do is lightly rinse the basket with hot water or splash steam on it or something and wipe it clean. And that is all you need to not experience a difference. If you're sitting around waiting for that portafilter to get piping hot, you're just wasting time. It's not going to change anything. So, yeah, no, I agree with that. 5 seconds is where the difference is. And it's because the basket will get hot in 5 seconds. That's all you need. And maybe they didn't know that was the culprit, but that is what's going on. I believe I've talked about this in videos before, but it's something I tested long ago. I didn't really feel like it needed a full video, but it's something I've used in other applications. But anyway, all right. That was a tingly 10 out of 10 ASMR. Maybe I need to make a YouTube short out of it or something. I don't do shorts, but maybe I'll go viral. All right, we got 300 people on here, but I don't have 300 likes. I have 62. I'm sweating over here. You can click that little button. All right. Do you think, let's see. You didn't think you liked ASMR, but guess what? Now you do. All right. This actually live or am I tripping? This is not AI. Dude, 14377. Oh, someone has the specialty to Argos set up and they're getting dark chocolate nuts in the cup. Love it. Did you pick up the Magnolia Mountain drop they just did? No, I saw it after they did the drop. I'm so bad at seeing things new. The Instagram algorithm doesn't like me. It puts up accounts I never look at, but I like feel obligated to follow. Maybe it's a friend or an acquaintance or something. And like, I don't really, I mean, you know, and then like I saw the Magnolia Mountain like 4 days after it, I don't know, it wasn't 4 days, but after it had already dropped, it was like, this was a successful drop or whatever they posted. And I was like, Scheisse, that looked gorgeous and I want it. But no, I did not get it, sadly. I freaking love their stuff though. My God. Dipping into roasting vids. Yes, I will. I want to do a review of the Rust, the ROEST. I just haven't done it yet. Waiting for a good time and a little bit more experience with it. I've had it for a little over a year now, but I like to take my time with things, especially if I'm jumping into a new sector online. I've roasted since my 3rd year in coffee. I've roasted, but yeah, it's just like a new thing. Not many people do much on it. There's not a big audience, so let's see. I'm expecting a follow-up stream later this week about microdosing to improve PSD. To improve LSD? Is that what you said? LOL. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to check the particle size distribution on my light tells. Now, that being said, it's and what I'll do is I'll do a comparison of that versus like my EK43 with Brewbers. Just for funsies, we'll do that before I pull a shot, because that's actually hilarious. Granted, this is not, the light tells is not super accurate. It's more accurate than the Difluid Omni, which is just a shot in the dark on what it is. Like it's like there's a little man sitting in there just like making up numbers. But yeah, we'll do that here in a sec. I probably got another good, at least 5 minutes of grinding this. Did you watch the Coffee Monster review of the Key? What's your take on the coffee quality of the 83 millimeter cones? I did not watch it, but I can already tell you I agree with the prognosis, but I don't necessarily agree with how they came to that conclusion. I've not watched it. This is based off what other people have said, but I did see the particle size distributions, and I heard that a big part of their takeaway was like basing a lot of their views based off the particle size distribution, which I think is a moot point. Particle size distribution doesn't tell you anything about taste, really. Not that we know of. We can only assume different things. So using that as any type of metric or proof is a bit weird. Like I had someone message me and say they had the key, they're not getting good shots. Now they think they know why. It's because it matches particle size distribution of $200 grinders. I'm like, that really doesn't mean anything, because the machine that Kaffeemacher uses for their particle size distribution is an imaging unit, and imaging units suck at fines and microfines. They're not good at it. They're good at particle shape, but not good at microfines and fines. And so they're using it though for the size. That's what those particle size distributions are. So they're not taking into account the main point of an imaging unit, which is to look at the particle shape. They're looking at the size distribution, which a laser does better because it can see the particles, the fine particles, a lot better. So I think it's a bit misleading to assume that the particle size distribution really has anything to do with taste. Now, that being said, I have notoriously, in online areas and in forums, and even when I'm giving speeches at places, I have dissed the 83 millimeter cone burst from Mauser. Granted, I have dissed a lot of bursts from Mauser because I historically don't like any of them for the most part. So I'm sure for a lot of people, it was just like falling on deaf ears, which is absolutely understandable. If people are like, oh, he just doesn't like Mauser fine. But I've been very specific on the 83 cones in many instances. I've always said that they have a very uneven distribution when it comes to just visibly. You get massive boulders. Whenever you tamp your espresso and it's dialed in, you get massive boulders. And that can be to a lot of things. Now, the fines production, even on their PSD, didn't show that it was producing like a ridiculous amount more fines. It just had a lower hump for the particle peak. And so what could be going on is just there's a wider gap down at the very bottom. There could be a lot more microfines that are causing it to choke. Like, for instance, if I'm able to choke this shot, it's not because I got a small nominal peak. It's because I have so many microfines that it's going to stop the shot completely. So anyway, it feels like I'm not making any progress now that I'm at this grind size. So we're just going to go. Variable RPM. Don't make a GIF out of that, please. That should not be a freaking meme. Please. Please don't. Please don't make that a stupid meme. Oh, I cannot do backflips on a stage. Pop culture. Oh, God, I'm dying. The Gauja refurb video is going to go hard. Yeah, well, I've refurbished already a disgusting Gauja baby. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted stories as I was doing it. Oh, my God, the insides were just, it didn't work at all. Everything was disgusting inside. Had to rewire some stuff. Had to fully disassemble the pump and the boiler in order to get it all working. It took a while. Lots of citric acid baths. Well, not for the boiler. The boiler was going in a non-citric acid based descaler because you don't want aluminum and citric for the most part. But I'm getting it this time, guys. I'm freaking committed. We're at 53 minutes, and it's been 20 minutes per essentially, it seems. Take a quick break. Woo! Okay. Curious to see the stats after this, if that's a smartwatch you're wearing. It's the Whoop band, so there will be stats. I wonder if Baratza Forte BG is still good or not. It is a good grinder. It is good. It's just at that price point. I think you can do better. But it depends if you're in the U.S. and how much you value customer service, because Baratza is top dog in the States. Who's a competitor for SSP? Lebrew. And in fact, he's very overt about being a competitor. It's actually quite hilarious. If you go to the Lebrew YouTube, Ryan, who kind of runs it, does a full interview with someone in Chinese. So they have really nice English translations that they had added afterwards. So it's not AI generated. They're really good. I watched the video and read them. And he straight up just says that they're better than SSP. They bleep out the term SSP, but they're like, we're better than SSP. Yes, we use essentially the same geometries. They admit to essentially copying geometries, but they're like, we use better materials and we're better. We don't understand why people are buying it. We're cheaper and better because we have cheaper labor and things like that. It's worth to go watch. It was a little, some of the things he said were a bit like, huh, interesting that you would say that. For instance, one weird take I'll be honest with you about is he said there's no point in using bigger burrs other than more volume, which is just not accurate. This is not news. It's not anecdotal that bigger burrs give you a higher potential for more variability in your particle size distribution. Not only that, but also a longer cutting face can help to dissipate heat, which does have an effect on taste. And just more surface area gives you just more freedom to play, I guess. But yeah, he said that if you had a small burr, like a 64 millimeter and a 98 with the same particle size distribution, he said they'll taste identical. That's not true either. I've created burrs that had the same particle size distribution, and double blind test was able to tell them apart every single time. So some sus things were said. I was like, what? But I liked how honest he was. Ryan, if anything, is very honest. But Lebrew for sure. Sending some thank you for the workout. Thank you so much, Jez Kemp. Same price as my Melbourne cappuccino this morning. That is incredible. I love the hashtag. Is life is too short for cheap coffee? Love it. Let's see. Okay, I just went down way low on accident. Wow, I'm way behind. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm gonna fly through Patreon questions only because I'm way behind. Okay, so this is a smartwatch. Anywhere on the super secret Bravo project? No, sadly. Well, I guess no. I actually asked about it recently, and there's not really an answer. Any love for mocha pots? I don't think I've really talked about them. They're very difficult to control, even if you know a lot of people think that they can, but in reality, they're very finicky machines. But also, my friend Matteo Ottavio, he's an Italian guy who has a YouTube, and that's like his bread and butter. And I would honestly, I'm not even going to act like I could even gain half his knowledge in a year of focusing on mocha pots. It's been his life, and he's a coffee pro for like a decade or more. So I would go watch him, but I will do something on mocha pot, but I will not command as much authority on it like I attempt to do in other fields. But yeah, Kremloop has just released a slow beater for the 078. Yes, I saw that. I'm excited about it. Alakazam, one of my favorite Pokemon. Boogs the Wrestler, yes. And Guitar Man. Pull a 30-second while doing Zercher squats. My wife actually got me a thick as frick t-shirt for Christmas with a big old, chicken breaking a pencil's neck. That cracked me up. She knows how to make me laugh, and it's very good. Lance Sticky Ricky instant coffee collab. Oh my god, yes! I've messaged him on Instagram, but he hasn't responded. What's an affordable Agtron to buy? Well, so Agtron is a company, right? And those are not affordable at all. You can't that's not a thing. The most affordable, decent color reader is the Difluid Omni, which is, I believe, $800 US. I have since upgraded. I bought the Lighttels CM200, I think it's called, which is like $2,000 or $3,000. Thankfully, the company Lighttels gave me a pretty decent discount because they know I'm going to produce data and publish it, and so they were happy to give me a discount. So I was happy about that, but it was still well over. I think I paid 2,000. It's a 3,000. I can't remember what I paid, but it was still a few thousand or over 1,000. But yeah, so I have that now. It is better. It's faster. It's more consistent. A bit higher quality. But yeah, and Lebrew makes one as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they undercut the price of Time More because they're pretty aggressive in pricing. So Lebrew is one to maybe look at. And then on top of all that, actually, the best budget one, there is one that's similar to Gajuino, and that's I believe it's open source project. I need to find what it's called, but Dennis Sabo uses it, and It's one that you kind of make yourself with a 3D printed casing, but that's something that would be interesting as well. And they seem to be pretty consistent. Sorry, I meant to be flying through these. Wait a second. The laser cut holes are not as precise and clog more than precision machined. That's true. That's true because of vibrations, laser holes, and more edges. I showed this in my video as well on $200 baskets. Are you giving this grinder away on Patreon? LOL. I think my wife would be mad. Well, I don't know, actually. Lance Unafraid to ask for likes. You better believe it because I'm a crazy coffee kook. And it's like 12:45 a.m. here, so any filter that could potentially be there, even when I start unfiltered, is absolutely gone now. Can I get a follow-up on my Americano question? I'm not sure what that one was. I get no consistency with my DF64 when slow feeding manually. Will buy Camino solve the problem? I get shot times between 18 and 40 plus seconds without slow feeding. Everything is fine. Well, if that's your experience, then, don't slow feed. But if you think it's based off of your capability of slow feeding, then yeah, something automated will help. But I'm never one to push consumerism. So if you enjoy not slow feeding, then don't slow feed, right? Like, that's simple as that. Now, I do have... I do have the crema loops here, and I can kind of show you how it works. It's actually very effective. Nice and slow, baby. Look at that. So what it does is it picks up beans that are down here. It's on an angle, so the beans are down here, and it picks like one, maybe two up at a time. And there's a little hole right here. So it lifts it around the clock and drops it in the hole, which goes down into your grinder. It does a good job. It does what it's supposed to do. And I like it, but again, like, you don't need to buy anything if you're enjoying hot starts, or fast starts, whatever you want to call it, fast feeds, all-in-one feeds, whatever. That's great. I've never had that inconsistency issue personally, even with hand feeding. I don't know what that is. Maybe I just had a really nice methodical way of doing it or something. But like, I've always slow feeded my EG1, for instance. I found early on, just randomly, it tasted better, so I kept doing it. And it wasn't until a year or so later that I figured, hey, let's actually test this. But honestly, all I do is I take my dose cup and I just tap the side at a very slight angle. It's where only a couple can kind of trickle out at a time. And I just finger tap like that. You bought a Profitect Go. I just bought one too, so I'll give you tips and suggestions too. I saw one was on sale at the Espresso coffee shop again. They've been having the craziest sales. I saw one was on a ridiculous sale there, and so I picked one up, I think 2 weeks ago. I think it was going to take a while to ship. I think maybe February. I think they were out of stock or something. But I did buy one, so it'll show up when it does. Shoot. Okay. Are you not based in Netherlands? I am in Portugal. You become Sisyphus. LOL. Are there bolt burrs and steel truly superior to SSP? So far, I don't think that they're superior to SSP, no. And as far as the steel goes, if they are, I don't think there's any practical reason why they would need to be. That doesn't really make sense, but I don't know. What setting would you start on with the Bratza ESP for a medium roast? Probably, well, it depends. I'm not sure they're all calibrated the same. I've had two, and they were very similar, though not identical. So it's really difficult, but maybe around a 12. Yes, I'll be testing the Meraki. I'm just waiting for it. I bought it on Kickstarter. I was one of the early birds, but I still haven't gotten it. Weird conical ghost teeth burrs. I don't think so, actually. What's your best money, no object grinder for espresso? Best money, no object grinder for espresso. It really depends on your flavor profile, like what you're looking for. I am very much interested in some grinders that are coming out. Like, for instance, I really do want to get that new Coffeetech. It seems like, honestly, Dennis has been watching my videos and has been taking notes. I'm not saying he didn't have those ideas before watching me or hearing about me. In fact, he very well could have. I'm just saying it's the coincidence of him putting almost everything I would want in a grinder with this new one is pretty great. And I told him, I want to buy one of the first ones. He made it vertical burr mount, auger fed, variable RPM, reverse drive motor, so you can switch the burrs in and out, blind burrs, and he was the first ever to redesign the burrs. And y'all know I've been asking for this for years. I've been begging burr manufacturers to take a risk and to manufacture burrs when they're in grinders with augers that pre-break, to redesign the burrs to not have any pre-breakers on them. And that way you can maximize the surface area of the burr. And that way a 98 millimeter burr is now acting like a 120 or 130 millimeter burr, because it's not wasting space with pre-breakers. You're using pre-breakers with the auger. And so anyway, he's done that. He has no pre-breaker on his burr now, which I'm very excited about. So anyway, yeah, the Agtron is 17,000. That being said, we have an Agtron at Onyx, and I'm finding my light tails to be just as consistent. Answering Patreon-only questions. What made you ask that question yesterday to include non-Patreon viewers to your live streams? So I'm not answering only Patreon questions, but the issue is I didn't actually mean for this live to go public. It was supposed to be private, and I didn't fix the setting. Because like I said in that poll, I was going to do like maybe one a month, and I was going to post about it ahead of time. This one I didn't post about, so that obviously means it wasn't meant to be public. So I will do some public ones. This is public, obviously. But with those, I'm going to be a bit more organized with-ish. I doubt I'll do one a month, to be honest with you. It'll probably be more like one every 6 weeks or so. With my Patreon, it's a bit more like, you know, I do it more often, and I do it more, I guess, randomly. But, yeah. I mean, I told you we're getting espresso this time. All right, let's see. On a recent live, you said you recommend 70 ppm general hardness, 50 magnesium, 20 calcium to 25 ppm buffer, potassium bicarb. Do you have any advice on how to make a 200 mil concentrate with this recipe? Well, if you have Lotus, it's really easy. But you do need a laboratory scale. You need pipettes. There's a lot of things that you need to go ahead and get. And then honestly, there are conversion website. I think on Breast Hustle, you can go in and put what you're needing and put the volume, and it'll tell you the exact weights and everything. Can I make Pablis water with sodium bicarbonate instead of potassium? No, it needs to be potassium bicarbonate for it to fulfill what he is saying is possible. So he actually works in water chemistry specifically. And he has found that when you do about 45 to 60 ppm of potassium bicarbonate specifically, you will not get either corrosion nor scale. So it's very specific. He's made it very specific that it's potassium bicarbonate, not sodium. I know it's a little bit harder to get potassium, but that is what he was very adamant about. Okay. Dreo milk frother. No, the thing with Dreo is they reached out to me, no joke, about 400 times asking me to be paid for a review. And it really annoyed me. And so there are sometimes I'll be petty, and that's one of the times I'm not going to do it. They had multiple representatives reach out, and I already told one of them I didn't do it for pay. And then they kept coming back saying, do it. And then after I kind of shut off that one combo, other reps started reaching out, and it really frustrated me. I don't like being told what to do. Yeah. So anyway, do you have to have any updates about the tour you're going to do with Pepe? No, I'm not sure when I'll be able to do it, because I have so much going on this spring, and I know he was wanting to do it in spring, but I just don't think I can make it swing. Because I don't want to be away from my family that much. I already have so many things planned this spring that's a little nutty. And I'll post my travels here soon when I have them all concretized. But for those watching, I will be I'm very confident I'll be at the Zurich conference. I'll be at the Nordic Coffee Fest. I'll be at the Madrid Coffee Fest. And I'll be in Edinburgh in like 10 days. And I'll be in Rotterdam in like 2.5 weeks. So, and all of that, and then I'll also be at the USA Houston Expo. So that's all between now and April. So I don't think I can make time to do a tour this spring. I think it'd just be unrealistic to attempt that. Kind of take another break. Flying through these. Can you finish the best espresso grinder? You answer with a future grinder. No, I didn't. That is available. Well, I guess it's sort of future. I mean, he's taking pre-orders now, so it's not really future. One day there will be an 80 millimeter grinder for $100. Yeah, imagine 102 blind burrs with just finishing teeth. You would Optional would have to freaking integrate an auger. Please, give me an auger. I want one. Oh yeah. Okay. Liberu roast C works well according to Robert Aloe. Okay. Do Lotus drops have potassium bicarbonate? You better believe it. What do you think this is? Right there. Shameless plug. All the gear you mentioned, I'm just confused how to get the correct ppms. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Use the Barista Hustle water guide. I think Jonathan Gagne has it too. You literally plug in your numbers, it does the math for you. Because I'm not going to do the math on live. Is this a DeLonghi EC235? Yes, it is. Sorry if I missed this in another live. Any update on your roasting project, highlighting underrecognized farms? No, because this Onyx EU thing has taken a lot. Here's the thing. I think once I embraced my ADHD, I realized it was a superpower, and I was like, I can do anything as much as I want. We're good to go. And then I started committing to too much, and doing Onyx EU, as well as my responsibilities with Onyx in the States, as well as YouTube, as well as second YouTube, as well as all the Patreon stuff, as well as being an employer to Ugo, as well as doing consulting things. It has been a bit difficult, as well as the travel I do in order to do, and so it's been a bit difficult, and so it's not that we're not going to do it. It's just taking a lot longer because I'm still building Onyx EU to ensure that it actually is a fiscally capable thing to live on its own without holding Daddy Onyx's hand in the U.S. So that's something I've been putting a lot of work and time in while also maintaining my other jobs. So, all right, I think we're there. First, I'm gonna kind of do that thing again where I get it all in the center and give it one more kind of go. Okay. Do you think it's worth using our Pavlis water and X Bloom? No, I don't think so. You don't want that much. I wouldn't want that much bicarbonate in my pour overs, to be honest with you. With that, you're not going to worry about scalar. You don't need to worry about corrosion in the Pavlis. In the X Bloom. You just need to descale it probably every now and then if it gets too much scale. But if you're using, even like 40 ppm overall, you're not going to have any issues. So I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, let's get the last. I wonder if anyone's ever pulled a nice shot of espresso using a mortar and pestle. I'm curious. Because we're about to do it. My only fear is it's been ground now for so long. That one took about 30 minutes. My fear is that it's degassed so much that it might mess with the shot. All right. Let's check the particle size distribution. Okay. Use this. Actually, they have one in there. All right. Let's get a good representative scoop. All right, we got a scoop. Just toss it right there. Then we're going to take this little flapper. We're just going to, there it is. You flap it. I guess you can't really see, but essentially that's our particle distribution. We're going to take the light tails, place it on top, turn it on. And then we wait. Shake the grounds. Yeah, I could have shaken them, but okay, you know what? I will shake them. That's a good point. That is a good point. What am I doing? I have this right here. Okay. All right. And actually, after I kind of scooped, I saw more boulders. I'm going to go back in. All right. Yeah, shaking gets a good idea. That'll help homogenize them. Because I guarantee you, a lot of those fines are stuck on the bottom of the bowl, and they would not be in that scoop I just got. So this will help stick a lot of the fines to the boulders, giving us a better reading. Yada, yada, yada. And actually, I'll grind on the Coffeetech because that's actually dialed in to this coffee. And so it'll give you an idea of what it should be at and what this one is at, and we'll see if it'll pull. That'll be funny. All right. Here we go. What's the t-shirt from? It's from a shop I started when I was living in Memphis, or helped start. Okay, there we go. Hey-o. I think we're choking it. Okay. Ugh. Why is it favoring that side? Let's put it back in the middle. Give it a nice. There we go. There we go. All right. It says 42% of it is over 1,400 microns. That can't be right. No, those are not 1,400. That's silly. This thing sucks. This is why I'm saying you can't use anything that's not a freaking laser or imaging unit. That's crap. Well, let's see what the dye fluid says, just for science. This is great at color reading. I've never used it for particles, so honestly, I could be reading the particles wrong. I've not used it for that yet. I know you use this and you bang it, but obviously, maybe it needs calibrating or something. I don't know. I've just not used it for that. I have used the dye fluid, which is underneath this machine, so we'll use that. Honestly, it is very inconsistent, but it's not going to say 1,500 microns. I can tell you that. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see. That noise freaked my dog out. Robot or Flare 58? I probably prefer the robot. Wow, it says 694 microns. I just can't believe that's right. Maybe it is for the bulk. Oh, 30% of them are 694 microns. I could believe that, actually. I believe that. Oh, and then we need to do a little bit of, let's just toss that. Let's get a little brushy brush. I can believe that, actually. All right, let me get a little sample of I don't feel like shaking this one. It should be homogenized well enough. It's freaking Coffeetech. It should be fine. There. All right, and so this I know is dialed in to this coffee. So that was 30% at like 650 microns roughly. What? Okay, this one sucks too. This says 672 microns, and this is dialed in to a shot. So actually, that means mine might be fine if it read about the same on both, or this is just fugged. That's what I'm saying. I've seen other people use this for, like on Instagram and different places. People have like unironically used these and have taken their information. And I'm like, yo, slow your roll. These things are trash for actual particle size data. You need an actual $50,000 machine to get something even decent. I even took one day, I took like 200 readings from this on the particle size because I was just trying to see if it would give me at least the particle size decently. Oh my God, 200 readings, just all that data to waste. It was a frustrating day, but you know, you do it for science. Sometimes you just, I guess it wasn't for a waste because now I know that it's trash for particle size, but still pretty wasty. All right, enough chatting. Let's frickin' yeet this sheesh. Where the frick are you? Close your eyes, shut your mouth. Da 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 da. Dream, 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 dream. Da 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 da. Dream, 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 dream. You know that Taylor Lautner and Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Okay, this is the best one so far for sure. Honestly, I think we got it. What's going on, Rotterdam? I'm taking over Sound Kitchen, I believe it's called, a record store, and I'm also going to visit Manhattan to do more QC. But yeah, we have water. That would be a travesty. Yeah, we're good. Dream, 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 dream. All right, I need to put this up before I lose it. Because y'all know I be losing crap all the time. No, I'll be losing crap all the time. No, I'll be losing crap all the time. I made that song for y'all. All the time. Y'all know I'll be losing crap all the time. All right, let's get this. You think 38 seconds? Hey, I would be stoked with that. All right. We ready? What's that song? The... Doom 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 that went on for too long. But like Dr. Cox from Scrubs, I commit to the bit. COMMITTT. What's going on in Rotterdam? It's when is it? January 29th. All right, y'all ready? It's time. Oh, I think we've choked it. I'm going to bloom it. I'm going to bloom it. I'm going to bloom it. I choked it. I choked it. Is this a freaking joke? Double bloom. We're going to double bloom it. Because there's no solenoid, it's not depressurizing the group. It's okay. All right. Scheisse. Sweet boy. All right. That was a long enough bloom, I think. Okay. Crema. Ish. Just a 2-minute and 17-second shot. You know. Cheers. It's better than the previous one. The Mindset Ristretto. Bugenhagen! You can still run around using Lotus after brewing. I would not put distilled in the X Bloom. Did Drift Mag consult with you for a Porto edition? No, they have not. Remember you mentioned it takes 4 to 5 kilograms to season Pietro. I don't think anyone's brave enough to grind that amount with Pietro, at least not in just a few days. No, I agree. And actually, I had a call with Pietro yesterday, and I asked if we could remove the DLC coating. They're going to pitch it. I'm not talking with a head person. I was talking with like a rep who works with me. But so hopefully the seasoning is because of the DLC coating. Let's get someone to make a better auger for Sculptor. I agree. Anyone using LeBrews on the 78S? I have not. Yeah, even with the SSPs, you can't go super coarse. It's because the lack of range on there. Our call in Frankfurt, we discussed about your mod to the Pietro. Any chance you'll post a video on that? The mod is in my Pietro video. He's being a silly boy. How you keep your workspace clean, the maintenance routines you do for all your gear. LOL, my workspace is not, it's Ugo. Ugo comes in and cleans all the time because he's a sweetheart. Then for maintenance, it's because I only put Pavlis water in the espresso machine, so I don't ever have to descale them. Then yeah, I mean, I clean machines. I don't know. I just keep it I keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Bratza Encore ESP in Europe. I live in Portugal. I think they ship in Europe. No. Thoughts on Profitec Pro 800? I'm sure it's an incredible machine, built really high quality. I've not actually used one. I think I pulled once at an expo before. Just going for that Super Ristretto. It was. Do I even have to timestamp this one? You have to. You're the timestamp goat. The classic 1-to-2 ratio in 137 seconds. The cafe standard the world isn't ready for. It's so funny. I had actually on my Italian video recently, I had loads of Italians comment and say they agree wholeheartedly. They loved my approach to the Italian shot. They understood that I was not saying there's no such thing as an Italian espresso. Obviously, there is a defined Italian espresso that is official. That's not what I was saying. The thumbnail literally says perfecting Italian espresso. I did have 2 or 3 people who were really upset that I had the gall to suggest I could improve the Italian espresso. I'm like, oh my God, touch grass. The whole thing's Q&A, by the way. How's testing on the Zerno going? Still like it? Oh yeah, I love the Zerno. We're a bunch of nerds watching Lance grinding coffee for 30 minutes for a 3-minute ristretto. It's true. Any news on the collab with Glyph in Singapore? No, it's just taking longer than we expected. Do you ever play around with roasting your own beans at home? Of course I do. I use the Roast, ROEST, Roast. Never has weird coffee person been so apt. It's true. All right. I think we're good now. We're about at an hour and a half. I think that's more than enough to stop. I mortar and pestled for over an hour in this video, so I think I've earned. It's almost 1:30 a.m. here. So thank you so much for hanging out. I've got a nice video coming up soon on the Stylosa, but I go into a lot of other detail than just this, like hacks for other machines of this quality, but also kind of like, some fun things in it. I've got a lot of other really fun videos that I've planned. I'm going to do an aspect ratio video where I match aspect ratio on 49 and 58 millimeter and do a lot of data acquisition on that. I've got obviously the 78 millimeter burr comparison coming up. Lots of fun stuff. It's going to be bing, bang, bong, bing, bang. Thank you for your support. Big shout out to those in my Patreon. Thank you so much. We'll do more private ones just for you all that I don't accidentally list as public. But to everyone who are not Patreon members, thank you so much for joining and hanging out with us. I will be doing infrequent ones that are public, but obviously as I guess a tier or a reward or whatever for being in Patreon or interacting on these live streams. But anyway, thank you so much. You all rock. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, midday, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. Thank you so much. Who knew it took an hour and a half to pull 3 espressos? I did pull one at 25 seconds, and I count that as a win. A boom, 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 boom. Double chunk chocolate cookie. So go get your chicken bake. I'm so cool. All right. Love you all. Bye. Brew something tasty. Seriously. Do it.